Good afternoon everyone, I hope you're all well. Thank you for tuning in today. Again, beautiful sunshine outside. I know I always comment on the weather, but I always find that if the weather's good, life is generally good all round. So welcome to the live studio everybody. I thought for a second there we weren't going to be able to go live. We're having a few technical issues again, and I was just about to send a text to say please stand by, but we actually got it going, so well done Tim. So what we're going to do today in studio is we are going to revisit the Be Inspired, which is the Blossom set from our Craft Academy range. And I'm also going to quickly show you the stamp that is coming out next week. As I mentioned in yesterday's studio, we are going to launch 2 stamps at a time now, so people can save cost on postage. Now that does not mean you have to buy the 2 stamps, but if you do like 2 stamps, you will be able to save that in there. If you are watching for the first time, or maybe the second or the third, and quite new to the channel, my name is Tony Darroch and I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft. And this is a lovely channel where we all inspire one another. The ladies and the gents on this group are part of the SBM family now, and you will quickly find that if you have any questions, queries, or something you're a little unsure about, if you're quite new to crafting, this is the place to come and be inspired and get those hints, tips and techniques. So welcome everybody, Denise, Joe, Tracy, Helen, Enid, Jackie, hello Elaine, lots of Amanda, lots of lovely familiar names as always. And we do have lots of new viewers every single day. So for those of you who are quite new to the channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button and don't forget to click the HD button. That will give you a better viewing experience. So we don't get the creative craft shows in the US. I don't think you do, Phil, unfortunately. But at least you have me here for the time being. I think after this little pandemic, should we say, things are going to change. So let's see what comes out of the other end of it, because I think life will be different. So let's see what happens. So I'm just going to show you the lovely stamp that we launched yesterday. So if you missed the show yesterday, you will be able to see what stamp is coming up next. And it's this beautiful Explore. And it's a beautiful scene with the bridge on there and the beautiful tree. And as you can see from the samples behind me, you will see there are a variation of samples where I've totally chopped them up a little bit, used something different, acetate, we've done some reflection in some water, and we've also done the tree with the sparkles on there too. But there is so much more you can do with these. Don't just look at the samples that I've made. As you all know, we always do way more than what I actually present to you live in the shows. And both cards today are completely different to any of these that are on the back today, because I felt a little bit more inspired since I did these. And if I just move out of the way, here is the stamp that we did yesterday. I did mount it, it just needs a sentiment on there. You can see that one there. So after a few sparkles, I'll bring it forward actually. So after a few sparkles and matte and lead onto a white card, you can see there, you get a beautiful result. So that's the one that we ended up finishing yesterday, and we were complementing the one where it is a blue one onto a black top folded note card. So you can see the difference there. I don't know why I've just touched that, because you know it's a recipe for disaster. It's all probably going to come falling down, crashing down on me. So this one is available over on FBL. Now if you are interested in any of the stamps, all you need to do is go to www.stampsbyme.co.uk and pop FBL into the search engine, and that is where all of the products I generally use in studio or any of the Craft Academy stamps are in there. Some have sold out. There are a few of the earlier ones, and don't forget, if you do like the earlier ones, the inspiration is on YouTube. All you need to do is just click through the pictures, find the one that is the picture that you like, and then you will get some inspiration and you can craft along, which a lot of ladies are doing on a daily basis. So we are still getting through all the emails. I think for every 1 week, every 3 we clear, another one comes in. But yes, we are getting through the emails. So let's have a look. Do we have any questions? Let's have a look. Doreen's asking about the green water thing that folds up and you put water in for your painting. The problem is it doesn't stay up and spills. What am I doing wrong? I've not actually tried mine, sweetheart. I'll have a look at the box when I've finished on set and I'll message you. and I'll have a look myself. But yeah, I think is there a portion in the middle where half is water and then the other half you should be able to pop your brushes in there and things like that. I'll have a look for you, sweetheart. I'll get back to you on that one. So the ladies' gowns and the small foliage, yeah, I had a look after show yesterday and there's none at all. Will they be coming back? I am not sure. I can't guarantee. But if we do bring anything back, as you all know, I do let you all know. So let's craft, hey? So if you are crafting along, let's just pop this aside. You're going to need a 5x7 craft coloured card. I'm doing it on craft, you can do it on white or black. So basically it's an A4 piece of card scored in half, and I've just made myself a card blank there. Yay, craft time. That's what we're all here for, aren't we, Joe? Are the ballerinas coming back? The ballerinas are still in stock, sweetheart, I think. They should be on the website. They are there. Have a look. The ballerinas and the shoes and the window. They should all be there. So basically I have a top folding. It's not actually top folding today. It's a landscape card just scored in the middle. A4 piece of card, and then I have a matte and layer with the same colour. You all know that I like to use the same colour, so basically this piece is just smaller. If you look here, it's just slightly smaller, can we see that there, than the piece of card. So you've got like a 2mm border all the way around. So there's my card, and there is my matte and layer, just a little bit smaller, and we're going to be working on the matte and layer first off. So let me just move this out of the way. So the stamp we're using live in show today is this beautiful one, the Craft Academy Be Inspired, and it's the large blossom one. A lot of you have already got this, and I know a lot of you are still waiting patiently, so thank you. I did read through a couple of the messages, and a couple of you are still, you're still watching the inspiration but can't craft along because the stamp hasn't arrived. But again, it's just, you know, Royal Mail are working so hard, so, you know, it will come. I promise it will come. So we'll just set that aside. So what we're going to do is, we're going to do a bit of a background technique that we've done in one of our earlier stamps. Can't remember which one it was. But we're also going to build on it. So this is what's great about the techniques we're doing in Craft Academy, is we can build and chop and change techniques with techniques. So first of all, I'm just going to pop this piece of cardstock into my Eureka, and I'm just going to hold it down in the middle with my magnet. Drink my coffee. Drink your tea. Coffee today, Enid. I have to like try and drink that really quietly, because when I watch Studio back, sometimes I can hear myself gulping. It sounds a bit clumsy. So I've also got a distress ink here, and I've just picked brushed corduroy. Now I'm hoping this will actually show on here. I haven't actually tried it before coming to air, but I think it will. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the stamp, and what we're going to do is we're just going to stamp over the two corners of the piece of card. Now the stamp is big, so I might have to adjust this slightly. Let's just see which way we're going to go. So basically I'm just trying to catch the corner. I don't want the whole image, I just want some detail on the corner. So let's go up here first. Let's pick up this stamp. And I'm just going to do it in the brownie colour. So let's hope it shows. Oh, that's a great question. Do we know who asked that question? When will the lamination stamp be available? The tulip. So somebody's a little mind reader. We have just done a whole new collection of the lamination stamps, and we've also recommissioned a lot of our earlier designs. So they will be with us shortly. I'm so excited about those because there are some new ones, and I know a lot of you do love the lamination. So lots of new designs coming, plus some of our earlier ones, and plus also within that collection is the lovely, you know, the blocky words, love, hope and enjoy, what I know a lot of you are waiting for. Those are also in there too, so that's really good. Oh, it does show, brilliant. So I'm just going to make it a little bit darker here, and I'm just going to continue that branch so I don't get like a floating image. I do like things connected. So, and this is a great thing if you have a stamping aid or the Eureka or whatever you have in your stash, where you can repeat the process and keep going until you've got it as dark as you like. Crikey, people are on form today. Which one? The cabin? I can't tell you. I can't. I know I'm saying I can't say. Let's just have a look. Okay, so the one with sending love on, yeah, that one. So I'm not sure how that sample has actually got on there, but that is a sneaky peek. That wasn't actually meant to be on there. I don't know how that's got up there, but that is a sneaky peek at what's coming soon. So it's a cabin, you're very right, and it builds a scene. So you know how we love flowers and building bouquets? Well, these are going to build you scenes. So whoever asked that question has obviously got a good eye. It will get pulled down, and I think Marilyn made that one from the design team, so she'll be like, what are you doing? But anyway, it's okay. We are family. If anybody asks, we're family. We get away with it. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to move my artwork over because I would like to repeat the decorative element across this corner too. So I'm going to do it a little bit different this time. I'm going to try and maybe, so it's up the side too, and then we can decide where we're going to pop our work. Hopefully that won't catch on my hinge, just slightly, but it's okay. So let's get this one stamped out too. Dorothy, well spotted Dorothy. As you can see, it is the only one up there that is different. I don't know how I've managed to pop that. Probably just grabbed it to fill a little spot. But yeah, another super exciting collection due any day. So lots of new things coming. So I'm just inking this one up. Now you're testing me, have I got a seascape? So what's in that collection now? My gosh. So if you, just one second, if you are crafting along, I've just repeated the process in the same colour across the bottom, so opposite corners, so like the reflection there. I'm just going to do it one more time to get this detail in here. I don't know exactly, I'm trying to think now. There is some cabins, there is a garden gate, there is some buckets, there is a watering can. I don't think there is a seascape, but somebody has actually asked me for some sea things, some beaches and things. Oh, yep, you can make them into a beach hut, I think. Yep, Generation Inks would work with those cards, absolutely. So I'm just going to have a little drink here. Yep, Rita, sorry, Generation Inks would work on this card too, yeah. So if you've got your brown from, I think it's collection 2, that would work. You don't have to have the distress inks, any inks will work for this sort of technique. I'm just using what I have my hands on at the moment. So you're probably thinking, you keep talking about those boxes outside your door and you never actually seem to make any progress. So here's what happened. I ordered the furniture online and only half came. So a tabletop came and the legs were missing. Then I ordered some drawers and the drawers came, but the carcass to put the drawers in didn't arrive. And then, as you can imagine, trying to ring people at this moment in time is proving very difficult. And I don't want to ring and vent frustration because it's the wrong time and people are doing the best, so I've left it. So I have half furniture. So what we're going to do now is I have a piece of white cardstock, and I'll just show you what so this is the piece that we've just done, and this piece is like a centre part here. Can we see that there? So I'll just measure this one for you so you can see if anybody is crafting along. So it's 15 centimetres tall and 10 wide. 15 by 10. Okay. So now I'm going to have to turn that over because I've got a mucky mark on there, which is no surprise. And then I'm just going to grab the same ink pad, but this time we're going to do it in black. And now I want you to pick the best part of the image. What do you like best out of this piece? So I do like the fullness of the cluster, but I do like the skeletal where it tails off to a bud. So I'm going to try and get that in there too. So I'm going to go there, like so. So I'll have this detailed part on this piece of white here. And I'm probably going to get some brown on there, and I thought so, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Memento ink this time, and you can see I have 3 alcohol markers here, and these are all grey tones. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of a technique now, and how you can use your stamps differently. So if you're using alcohol markers, you need to use Memento. If you're using watercolours, pans, you need to use VersaFine, okay, waterproof ink with your colours, and Memento with your alcohol pens. If you want to make a note of that, then you've got a reference. So I'm just using the Memento ink here. I'm just inking up the stamp. When is the new collection coming? I'm just literally waiting for it to land. And I think it's TV at the end of the month maybe. I do pay attention, honestly, and I am super organised. So there we can see you've got a beautiful crisp image there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this here from here, set this aside a second. I'm just going to dry this one off with my gun to make sure it's absolutely dry. So Gillian, if you're wanting to know what you've ordered, darling, all you need to do is check your confirmation email you received when you bought the order. So go back to your emails, probably type stamps by me, and it'll bring up all the orders that you've probably purchased from us, and then click in and it'll tell you exactly in the confirmation email. So there we go. So this is this. So I have 3 shades of grey here. Now you are going to need a bit of scrap paper or a piece of scrap card. And I always say, start with the light colour and build on it. It's better to go light and build up than it is to be dark and try and pull back, okay? So I'm going to go with this one here. I've got Cool Shadow BG178 in case you are crafting along. And I'm just going to put this onto here now. This is a lovely, like baby blue. But as you can see, it's going to dry back to pretty nothing. I can see the alcohol evaporating. You must give it 10-15 seconds for it to dry back, and it's going to probably dry back to nothing. So always test on a piece of scratch with any colours. So this one is CG2 Cool Grey. Now this might be a little bit better. You see that there? And then give it a second, 10-15 seconds. I think we are going to go with this one. This is the better one. And then I have got a darker one, which is a warm grey. This has got a nice brown undertone in this one. So I'm just going to let them settle, and then I'll decide which one I'm going to go with. And what we're going to do is we're going to outline this image with one of these pens. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it look three-dimensional without any fussy cutting or any sticking or gluing or 3D pads. You're just going to literally go around this image, and what it's going to do is it's going to create instant dimension. So what I'm going to do is I quite like the centre one here, but it's down to personal preference which one you like. So I'm going to go with the Cool Grey on this occasion. So the pens, if you have the pens, if you don't have the pens, use whatever alcohol markers you've got in your stash, or if you have got watercolour pens, make sure you use the waterproof ink pad and you can go around with your watercolour pens. So use what you've got in your stash. So this pen has a nice bullet nib, which is going to enable me to get in all that detail there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my brush end here, and I'm just going to go around the outside of this image as close to that petal as I can, and you need to take your time with this. Turn your artwork as you go, okay? Don't break your wrist and try and get round your work. Just take your pen and just gently go around the outside of your stamp. When you pop it on, you're probably thinking that is too dark, but alcohol markers evaporate probably about 2 shades lighter. So do have the courage, but as I've said, you can go lighter and lighter, and then just go over in a darker coloured pen if it's not as dark as you'd like. So you will be able to see the results in a second when I've gone all the way around here. So make your artwork work for yourself, turn your artwork around, don't break your wrist. It's just easier. So I'm sorry I'm being a little bit quiet. Actually, I'm just concentrating because I want you to really see how effective it is if you outline your images with a grey or a blue, very pale blue pen. And this is why it's important you use the correct ink, because if that alcohol marker connects with that ink, it'll just bleed and it'll look a little bit ugly. Like so, can we see that there? So already we've got a little bit of a dimensional. I used VersaFine ink to stamp. Is that watercolour pens you say? Yeah, if you've used VersaFine, you need to use a watercolour pen. Okay, if you've used Memento, you need to use an alcohol marker. So can you see there, does that not look dimensional to you? Just with a lovely grey outline. It's drying far, far lighter. So you can, let me just show you on the front as well, just so you can actually see, just a second. Won't be a second. There we go. So you can see it gives a suggestion of dimension, but it's not, it's a pen. It's a little bit of a cheat, so it's just food for thought is that one. To create dimension on your cards. And it's not until you start putting your card together when you realise, is that fussy cut or is that a shadow? Or is it 3D foam pads behind? So it's a little bit of an alternative if you're not a best fussy cutter in the world, but it's an alternative also as well to create dimension, but the card be flat. So when you brush over it, it's flat. Now, you can actually add dimension to the flowers if you want to. So I've got this lovely like blue. So you could spot some detail into the centres of the flowers if you wanted to. So if you haven't got a blue, maybe use the same colour that you've done your outline in. It will work. It will all come together. So basically, I'm just adding a little bit of this blue. I'm not even being careful about it. As you can see, I'm just brushing in there. It's going to dry back to pretty nothing. So I've got the confidence to really go in and just lay that colour down. And make sure you always start out lighter. Start out lighter, guys. And then build. If it fades to nothing, you've lost nothing at all, have you? If you can build on it. If you go too dark, you'll probably be thinking, oh my gosh, bit dark is that one. But again, it's a piece of paper. It can go in the bin. So I'm just doing the centres out, flicking out. I'm not even being too careful about it. Because I've used the correct ink, now I was just about to do that again there, it's practically dried to nothing. So I would have to probably get a darker colour. But when you first initially lay it down, you have got quite a bit of colour on there, but it does dry back to nothing. So I'm going over it again just to try and make it a little bit darker. But anyway. So I'll just show you that there. Can we see that there? I don't know if it's picking up. There is a little bit of colour in there, not too much, but it's enough for what I want to show you in the card. So food for thought there, guys, with the outline. Give it a go. You know, if you are using it, make sure you use the correct inks and then you'll be absolutely fine. So let me just have a drink of my coffee. Right, so let's get this card put together in some way. So I have here a piece of black card and it's just a matte and layer. You see now, instantly, as soon as you put that matte and layer behind, look at that. That looks three-dimensional to me instantly. And if you're always a little bit concerned, is this going the right way? Get a piece of black card or get your matte and layer and mount it and have a look, see where you're going, see if it's working or not. Because sometimes it's not until, and I say this in every studio probably, it's not until you get it on that piece of card, that's when your card starts to come to life. So let's mount this one. Now I didn't use fancy cardstock for the alcohol markers on this occasion. If you're wanting to get seamless blends and things like that, you must use the correct colouring card. But for these sort of effects, you can use your normal card in your stash. And don't just think you've got to colour your flowers grey just because you've done a grey outline. Colour them in pretty pinks and yellows and oranges and put the outline round. It will still give you a stunning effect. Are the grey pens in stock, Dorothy? Yes, darling, I think they are. If you just go to Gossip Markers on the website, they're probably in there. There's a whole host of colours on there, sweetheart. So you can see now how our card is coming together already. Can we see that there? So what I have here is another piece of black card. And this is going to fit, so it just needs to be cut to size to fit the sentiment that's also in the same stamp. So we have, let's have a look, Be Inspired, and it's the littler one from the set. And all we're going to do is we are going to heat emboss this in white onto here, look. So you just need a piece of black cardstock that is going to hold the Be Inspired stamp. There we go. So I'll just grab my equipment. So I'm going to use white. Just get this piece of scrap card from yesterday. Oh, we've got one there, that's fine. So I'm just going to let anti-static the cardstock, and then it'll give me a beautiful finish with hopefully no specks of embossing powder hanging around. And I'm using a sticky ink pad, and I'm just inking up that stamp. You can use pencils for the same effect, just a grey pencil or a blue pencil, you get exactly the same effect, yep. Back in the day, I remember when I first started on Create and Craft, I used to outline everything, absolutely everything. And I've not done it for such a long time, and then what's happened is I found a card this morning that I did many moons ago, and you know what it's like, those cards that you did ages ago and you were super proud of at the time, but now you can see your progression. But it still boils back to, I loved the outlining and it does work. Make sure this is white, yeah. Should have stamped that twice. But anyway, you can see where we're going with it there. You stamp it out twice. It's missed a few areas as that one, but I'm not going to risk it and try and re-stamp it. I'm going to go with it anyway, so you still get a feel of what the card is going to be like. So we'll heat set this one. Get your gun hot as possible. Less time on the card means less warp in your card. And then we'll get this lovely card put together. And I have another lovely card to show you too, which is again different to the ones we've already shown you. So I'll just heat set this one quickly. Yes, I definitely needed to stamp this sentiment twice. If anybody asks, it was meant to be that way. It was meant to be distressed, if anybody asks. What size is a black card and white card? So this was 10 by 15 centimetre, and then I just did it with like a little 2mm border bigger. So there we go. Oh, Linda, unfortunately I can't answer that live in studio. Does somebody else want to help Linda out? There we go, thanks Lorraine. What are we like, hey? Linda, you can't repeat it though, okay. So let's put this card together. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to stick this one flat with some glue. And this is like tone on tone. This would make a great Father's Day card actually. Coming up soon. I'm just going to mount this onto here flat with that lovely fresh tone on tone. See that there? And again, you could go round with your grey pen around this one to accentuate those petals on there as well. What I would say to you though is you're going to get a different effect if you use the same colour on, if you use the colour that you used on here. So make sure you do a scratch to check you're happy with it before you just go in and not ruin it as such, but before you go in heavy-handed thinking it's going to be the same, it's not, because the undertone is a different colour. So let's pop some pads on here. And we're going to 3D this one. Now, I normally don't like things in the centre, but I'll see how we go. Like so. So it's up to you where you want, if you want it this way, coming down this way. I don't think it really matters. I've done it with this in mind, so I'm just going to lean in and make sure I get it straight, sorry. Thank you. Like so. And then I'm just going to pop a pad behind Be Inspired here. I'm just going to pop this. And it does need some sparkles. Does that look straight? But there we go. So there's one very effective card by using layers and an outline pen. Excuse the awful sentiment on there, but if anybody does ask, I did that on purpose. That's the best way to look at it, hey? Just an alternative, okay? And as I said to you yesterday, you know, using the supplies that you have to hand is sometimes better than having all the best stuff in the world, because you can only use one thing at a time, can't we? So there we go. So there we go. So our man's card. So let's put this on the back with the rest of the collection. There we go. Looks quite pretty there. And let's move on to our next card. So Roseanne, what a beautiful name, Roseanne. So Roseanne, basically lamination is my watercoloured images or other fabulous designers' images, and it's in two parts. So the solid part is the watercoloured image, and then the outline is what you lay on top to create like a true realistic watercoloured image. The difference between our lamination stamps, which we have been doing for about 7 years now, is, and what you'll probably find on the market already, is they're very loose. So if you'll probably know, traditionally layering stamps are quite clean, crisp, quite fresh style, whereas these are very loose, very fluid. They don't match up perfect, so it looks like you have actually done wet in wet techniques and done them yourself. I hope that helps. Anne likes that card, very effective. Give it a go, Anne, let me know what you think. So for our second card, what I've got here is a DL card. So I'm going to show you that not always do we need to use our 5x7 top folding note cards and our landscape cards. We can sometimes chop the design up and make it be a little bit more creative with it. So I have a DL card here, and then I have a white matte and layer, which is going to sit perfectly on the front. Can we see that there? So no matte and layer. Now if you do like your coloured matte and layers and things like that, obviously you can put gold mirror board behind, coloured card behind. You can do all of those things. but sometimes it is nice to skip the colour and do white on white. It looks quite pretty and quite effective. So give it a try. If you don't like it, then you can go back to your coloured matte and layers. So what ink was used on the craft? It was brushed corduroy distress ink, brushed corduroy. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to grab the piece that's going to be our matte and layer, like we did with the brown one, but we're going to do it with the white one. I'm just going to pop it into my Eureka here. And then I'm going to grab our lovely big stamp again. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it straight down the centre of this piece of white cardstock. Look at that, it only just goes in my stamp set. Let's move it over so you can see there, straight down the centre. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to stamp this out in black. And I'm going to be using the VersaFine because I'm going to be using a sparkle pen. Now, a lovely lady did message me asking me to show her how to activate a sparkle pen. And she got in a bit of a pickle and ended up with orange hands. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to activate your sparkle pens as well, because the twist and pull technology on there can be quite frustrating if you don't know why we've done the twist and pull, and the reason we've done that is to stop it basically from leaking everywhere in bags and things like that. But I will show you. Hopefully this is going to come off nicely. There we go. So you get that beautiful image straight down there. I'm just going to blast it off with my gun. I'm going to make a song, Helen, twist and pull, yeah. I have been asked, but singing, not my forte. So let's just move that one out of the way. And then I'm just going to grab a piece of white cardstock this time. So this is just a half of an A4. I have a big pile of these because they're quick. And I'm just going to pop it in my Eureka and I'm going to stamp the image again onto some scrap white paper, white cardstock. It's not scrap, but it's not like watercolour card or anything. And I'm going to stamp the image again. So I stamped it once onto our matte and layer for our card, and then once onto some white cardstock. There we go. So I'm happy with that one. So let's get rid of the stamp for now. And we'll just set this aside. You're giving all my secrets away, Adele. I can move my hips. I'm not a bad dancer, I think. Or are you just saying that to be kind? So let's show you how to activate one of these pens. So I have this lovely olive green pen here. So you will see it comes with a green segment in the center here. It's a green ring, okay? And this is a protective ring. And this should stay in place until you're ready to activate your pens, okay? So basically, to get the lid off, you twist and pull at the same time. Let's put that back in. So twist and pull, okay, to get the lid off. It comes in two parts then. You have your lid with the coloured part on. This stays connected to the lid. The coloured part stays connected to the lid. Then all you do is let's just move this out of the way. All you do is you unscrew this barrel here. You take away this ring. This goes in the bin. You do not need it anymore. Then you put your barrel back on and you'll twist and twist and twist. And you might hear a pop if your hearing's really good. You will hear it pop. And basically there is a pin in there that's pierced the barrel. And if you look at the pen, there are two elements on the pen. You've got two there that say push. Can we see those there? Push and push. So then all you need to do is turn your pen over where it says push, give it a squeeze, and the ink will naturally just come down this barrel. Keep squeezing until the ink comes to the tip of this brush. And then once it's through, the colour is through. Can we see that there? So you're absolutely good to go. So you can see there now it is activated. To pop it back in, it clicks. To get the lid off, twist and pull. Right, twist and pull. Okay. but you are literally good to go. Look, make pretty patterns and sparkly patterns and things. But yeah, so once the ring is out of there, it's a complete pen, and the coloured ring comes away with the lid, not the barrel. So twist and pull. There we have two. I hope that's okay. Hope that makes sense. So with that in mind, I am going to do a bit of colouring with the sparkle pens. If you don't have sparkle pens, you can use your watercolour pens, you can use your alcohol markers, you can use whatever you've got in your stash, your pens, your pencils. So the one that we did on our scrap piece of card, I'm just going to colour with two of our sparkle pens. So I have the crystal light clear overlay, and I have the purpley colour here. So the way that I like to colour is I like to take the lids off both of these, the purple and the clear, and I like to do two-tone. So a great technique is just to colour one petal like so, take your next pen, drop in some purple, and then blend it out with your clear. So clear down first, pop the colour in so that it looks, you can do centre to edges. I don't fill it all with the purple, I just lay it down a little bit. So I like the lines on there. I think it looks more realistic, but if you like a smooth blend, you can absolutely blend it out, but make sure you do it on your watercolour card because the colour sits on the surface a little bit better. Okay, but I do like this sort of effect. So I'm just going to do this flower. If you are crafting along at home, you will have to cut this out obviously after we've come off air because it is quite time consuming, and I know a lot of you do take time when you are doing your cutting and things. So I'm just going to colour this flower. So lay the clear, pop your colour and drag out with your crystal clear. If you don't want to do the crystal clear, I'll just show you a different way. So basically all you're going to do is just go in and colour the whole area. So if you like the solid colour, you can just go in and don't pull out with the clear. I just like the effect of the light and shade a little bit better than just one solid flat colour. I like the appearance of dimension, and that's why I do it the other way. But there are no rules. You have to go with what suits you. We are all different. So you can see the two different, can I just hold that up there, Tim? Thank you. So you can see the two different ways. It's like, which do you like? I'm not here to tell you. It's down to you to find out yourself when you pick these things up and do them. So ahead of time, I have coloured it here, look, and fussy cut around. Can we see that there? And I popped a bit of yellow in the centre just to give it some detail on there. What I also did was I found the little snaggly bits. I couldn't fussy cut round. I am the worst fussy cutter, but I did still cut round them. Can we see that? I did still cut round them because I might use them to inlay into my card here. So there was two pieces there. So let's show you how I'm going to put this card together. If you're colouring it and going to fussy cut it, that's fine, but you can still craft along and still create the bits of the card that I'm going to do now, okay, if you want to. So first of all, let's bring in our card and then the piece that we stamped. Okay, let's go flat with this one. Just get rid of any blockage in your glue. So I'm going to stick this one flat. Onto this top folding note card. You can tell I'm in robot mood there, aren't you? Crikey, it's a DL card. So I'll stick that down, give it a chance to grab. I'm just going to make sure my counter's clean. I'm just going to turn that over and yeah, that's fine. So I've got the branch coming down instead of our tradition. We have worked on this way quite a bit, but I want the branch to come down today. Also, I have a piece of white cardstock here, and what I'm going to do is, let's see how thick this is so you can see if you are crafting along. It's just under 4 centimetres wide. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a banner straight down the centre here. I'm just going to trim it with my scissors to the length I want. So let's go here. like so. Can we see that there? Yeah, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to create a tail on here. There will be no dies for the Craft Academy stamps, unfortunately. We've decided that it's just going to be a stamping academy, if that's okay, just simply to keep the cost down. And a lot of the images, to be fair, you can fussy cut. I hate fussy cutting, but I have managed, so. And I think sometimes it is good to step out your comfort zone. So there we go, we have a nice little banner on there. So when we come to pop this on top, it doesn't matter where we come to pop it. Can we see that there? We've got a nice banner straight down the centre. So let's pop some pads behind here. And I'm just going to pop this right to the top so it's flush, but over to the right a little bit. There we go. So it's straight. So you can see that there. So we've got detail at both sides there. And then the piece that we have fussy cut is going to come down onto our banner. Now it don't matter, I don't think it's going to really matter how you position your work. It is going to be, it looks a bit like wisteria, doesn't it? I don't think it's going to really matter. Let's just try and get a crease on this card so it's going to sit flat so you can all see. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put pads behind this. I'm just going to stick it in this little centre here, and then hopefully I'll get the dimension in there. So the centre's going to be stuck, but the rest is going to be like free to do as it pleases, really. We see that there, so it's good to experiment, see which way is going to work for you. Shall we go like, no, let's go there. What we'll do is when it's stuck, we'll trim that little element off there, and then the little buds, you know, which were causing me pain, you can obviously tuck them in if you wish. So I'm going to tuck these in underneath. That's the story of my life too, believe it or not. The banners, they actually never work, do they? So these pieces here are the elements that I didn't want to waste, but were causing me a little bit of pain. I might tuck that behind there so it looks like it's peeping. Can we see that there? It looks really dimensional, doesn't it? When it's really not. So let's just give that a stick down there. And then, ahead of time, I stamped birthday wishes from one of our lovely sets, earlier sets, but you can use whatever sentiment you've got in there. And I'm just going to lay this straight across the centre here. And I'm going to go with the glue. I might tuck it in so it looks like it's coming from behind there. Move it over slightly. Give it a second to grab. Like so, and then you could pop some little splashes behind to get rid of the white sterile spaces if you wanted to. Just move it over a little bit more. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to embellish with a couple of gems, because as you all know, I find gems are great space fillers. So try and pick a colour theme that's either not going to clash or going to work with, or the same as. So let's just see if I've got any in my stash which are going to work with. If you are struggling with a colour match and you're thinking, I haven't got anything that's going to work, go clear. Go the clear ones, because they will always work, okay? And it's not going to be distracting on your eye as well. I'm going to pop clear and I'm going to do some sequins. So I'll quickly do that because you probably all know how much I love to do this sort of effect. So I'm just going to pop a few clear ones, and don't forget to pop clear ones onto your artwork too, not just in and around. Pop them on your artwork as well. They do look really, really effective. Let's just grab a tool. Don't know how, but I'm absolutely covered in ink today. So I'm just going to pop a few round. And on top of. If you can pick them up, there's nothing the worse, is there? I do this all the time and I do it on telly. Nothing ever wants to play ball. I'm as good at putting gems on as I am at making bows, guys, as you can imagine. One more then. I'll pop some sequins on as well for the picture, but I'm just going to pop these ones on for now. And I'm going to leave that be. There we go. So let's just move everything aside. So 2 cards, and it's just a different way of chopping up your design and making something that, if you look at these 2 cards, look how different they are. And it's one stamp. Oops. There we go. Look how different they are with the same stamp. You would never know, would you? Or would you? You would actually know. But the format, as in a DL and then a landscape 5x7, they just look completely different. And this is what I say about the stamps. Always try and not look at the stamp as an entity. I've made this one thinner by chopping away some of the buds and incorporating them underneath. And this one, we've just used half of the design and highlighted it with a grey pen to make it look 3D. So both very effective. Or my favourite is number 2. Yeah, I think it's because it's got colour in it as well, and sometimes colour is very, very uplifting. So, but yeah, love the vintage look. If anybody asks, it's vintage. So there we go, 2 fabulous cards. So we're back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we're going to be using this stamp again. It will be the last time that we use this stamp, but the tuition never goes away. It does stay on YouTube. And then we're going to move on to revisiting some of our earlier products. So I will be visiting maybe some older stamps and dies, which are some of still our best creations. So whatever you're doing, stay safe, stay cozy, and I'll see you all at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.